Hi! Hi everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm just playing around in my sketchbook. I don't have a lot of time. I think it's already almost 2 p.m. So we're gonna do what we can in this short day. The days are getting shorter, so it means that we have less light than before, which is sad. And today's a very rainy day, so it's a bit gray, it's darker. So we might lose the light earlier today. Anyway, we'll do our best. We'll do what we can. I'm gonna show you what I did. I'm exploring this concept in which I paint a city landscape where all the man-made stuff is not painted. So it's gonna be painted, but it's not gonna be detailed. It's gonna be like a background color. So the goal is that the focus is on the nature that we find in the city. So it's kind of something I've been exploring lately. I've done one painting about it. I'm gonna put the video in which I painted this first painting here. No, here. So today I wanted to paint a second painting, just like that. I changed the background color. Last time I used my acrylic inks and it was very fun. But now I was thinking I could do like a first layer in watercolors. I forgot the word for a second. And then put some acrylic inks on top. So I think we could try that and see where we go. All right, let me show you what I did so far. Okay, so this is the first painting that I created using this concept. And this is what I worked on yesterday. So I just created the background and now we're gonna paint. First, I was thinking that I could put some tape to make sure that the areas that I want to keep this color stay this color, because I remember last time I struggled a little bit to keep a straight line. So I was thinking we should try that this time. I'm not going to put tape everywhere, but I'm going to put it wherever I can, just so it makes my life a bit easier. I think that's gonna be it. I'm just gonna be careful with the rest because it's quite hard to put the tape on these little, like, more precise elements. And you know, even if you have tape, sometimes you have bleed. So I cannot even guarantee that it's gonna be working that well. So I wanted to start with this dark section here because it's been very appealing to me. I want to put lunar violet in there and try to respect the edges that I drew, because right now is not the time to go fast and ruin everything. And I love lunar violet because it's so granulating. You know me, I love my granulating watercolors, and this one is very granulating. And I feel like it's going to give us a lot of good texture in these shadows here. I'm gonna go with Daniel Smith Rare Green Earth to add here. I had a question for you. I wanted to ask you in my last video, but I forgot. I don't know if you noticed, but I said that I would probably have lots of questions for you. And then I think I asked none. Sorry about that. I was very scatterbrained, as you may have noticed. I've been reading lots of books lately. I think so far I've read 33 books in this past year. So I was wondering if you would be interested in like chatting about it, if I told you what my favorite ones were and why, and maybe like, you know, this is not going to be book 2, but I could still talk a little bit about that subject, I think, if you want. Anyway, so I was wondering, please let me know. All right, my battery died. I added just a little bit of Identron blue in the shadows in the hopes of deepening them, and I think it worked. So now I'm going to go on this side and try to come up with a color that would work well with the grass and that would differ from this bush here. So I had a look in my swatch book. I swatched all of my watercolors. Since I did that though, I have acquired a bit more, but still most of my watercolors are in these pages. So I decided I could try Shire Blue. I think it would be a good color for the grass. So we'll try that. I also want to keep some patches of yellow. And the yellow that I'm going to use is quinacridone gold. What I like about this color is that if you use it in a very diluted way, you get this beautiful, vibrant, fiery yellow. But if you use it in a bit more opaque way, then you get this beautiful orange. So this is kind of the fallen leaves that we can find on the ground. I hope it won't bleed. But I'm gonna have to go back because the edges are not perfect. This is just going to be, I think, for the first layer. And then I'm gonna go back and make the edges a bit more realistic. Because the leaves, they don't fall in a straight line. Okay, let's play with the Shire Green. Shire Blue, I mean. I think I'm gonna add some sap green in the mix. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I think the mix of sap green and Shire Blue will work beautifully here. And in some areas I can put a bit more sap green, and others I can put a bit more Shire Blue. Now for the sky, if we look at my reference picture, I would say it's a warmer tone blue. I don't have a lot of these, but I thought about one of the latest watercolors that I bought, and we have this cerulean blue right here that I think would work. And thank you to the person who answered my question in another video. I was thinking about this warning here that says cancer and reproductive harm, and that person told me, well, if you don't eat it, then you should be fine. So I'm gonna do my best not to eat it. So let's just see what it looks like. I don't know what it was gonna look like on this background because it might do something weird. We'll see. It's gonna be like a green, which is to be expected, but it's definitely not gonna give us the color that we were looking for. But that's okay because I think I'm going to use my acrylic inks on top. I guess now we're just mapping out some areas. I think nothing is useless when you paint. Everything is a learning opportunity. And maybe what I'm gonna learn this time is that next time I don't have to bother with a first layer of watercolors because this is the result we're gonna get. Or maybe I'm gonna learn something else. Maybe I'm going to get better with transparency, and I can find a way to use all of this to my advantage someday. So we'll see. We will see. Okay, let's wait for this to dry, and I think after that we can remove, well, we could do that now because we're done with this part. Oh, see, we got some bleed. Ah, that sucks. Maybe I can try to remove it before it gets too dried. Yeah, that's what I was scared of because you don't see what gets under the tape. Sometimes you get clean lines just like this, but sometimes you get bleed, and that's not good. Maybe next time I can put some masking fluid. It's just that I don't know how it's gonna take on this sketchbook because the paper is not the best quality, so I'm scared that it's gonna rip the paper. But I guess I should at least try it because that's what sketchbooks are for. Yeah, this is sad. Or maybe I can use this. Maybe I can put some leaves on top. That's something I wanted to do. I wanted to add some leaves in some areas. Like, yeah, I said that the edges were too clean. Okay, I think we can salvage this. So far, I love the transparency in the sky. It's very nice. So now I mixed some white fluid acrylics with my cerulean blue, and I'm trying to keep the transparency, so I'm adding a lot of water. My goal is to make this sky a tiny bit more opaque so the color pops a bit more, but I still want us to be able to see the background color a little bit. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna remove the tape and we'll see tomorrow, because now it's getting pretty dark, so I want to see with the morning light how this painting looks like. But I can't wait to remove the tape, so I want to do it now. Well, we have some bleeding, but I guess it was to be expected. We kind of have a lot though, but I used a lot of water, so maybe that's why it bled. Today is the next day, so I thought we could have a look at what we did yesterday. I know that yesterday we started losing the light, so I don't know how accurate the colors are in the last clip that you saw. So let's have a look. This is the painting that we created yesterday. I like it. I think maybe I'm just gonna add some wider spots in the trees, just like this here, like to see some like pops of white. Yeah, because here there's supposed to be a cloud. I like the transparency in this section, but overall I like it. Then we did this abstract painting. I'm not showing it to you completely because there's still some salt on it, so I'm gonna remove the salt and we're gonna have a look. I think this is something I'm gonna do more often, because it's a good way of not wasting colors, and it's kind of a good exercise. I call this like intuitive painting. It's like when you scribble, when you take a phone call, or like you just doodle without thinking. It's the same, but with paint, and it feels so good. So that's what I'm gonna do. I used my Arches hot pressed paper, and then that I don't think I filmed. I wanted to do more tests with my Yupo paper. I had this pad. I have like 3 sheets left, and they're pretty much all stained like this. It's way less absorbent than watercolor paper, so less absorbent than anything I've known so far. So I wanted to do some tests, and since this paper is stained, it's not something I can use to create art. So I decided I would just put some acrylic inks on top and some watercolors and make it flow and see how it reacts. And yeah, it flows incredibly well. It creates amazing texture. So I think that it's going to be really cool to create some of my latest abstract paintings, the ones that are just in black and white. But I've been experimenting with color a little bit too. I think I'm going to try to create some lines using my dip pen, see what happens, if it's pretty or not. And last thing is that I cut a sheet of this paper. This is the Strathmore cold pressed watercolor in a 400 series. It's 18 by 24 inches. I have never tried this paper, so I decided that today is the day. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to stick the sheet of paper on this old canvas and tape the edges and just paint. I want to paint this style, but on this paper. So I want to create a huge painting. And what I want to do is simplify it even more. And it's going to test this paper. So I think we could do like a mini review. First step, I think, is going to choose the base color. I'm going to paint one wash of that base color. Then I'm going to tape the edges because I want that edge to have a color. I think it's going to be nice. And then we're going to sketch on top. Okay, I'm trying a different angle. You can really see my tripod here, but don't look at it. For this first layer, I decided I'm going to use cerulean blue for the first layer, but I'm going to dilute it a lot so it's very pale. And I thought about stretching this paper first, and I decided not to, just because I'm lazy. Yeah, that's the only reason. We'll see how the paper behaves. So then again, let's try not to eat cerulean blue. I made sure that my brush that I'm going to use is very clean. And yeah, we're going to do a diluted wash. More so to tint the paper. So we can see that the paper is starting to warp a little bit, but we'll see when it dries again, if it dries flat or not. Okay, I think I'm done with this. I feel better with these colors. I feel like they're a bit more vibrant. It still looks like it's a bit dark, but I think that it reflects well the fact that it was very early morning. I still wish I had made all the shapes a bit simpler, but that's something I'm gonna try with the big painting that we started. We're gonna try to keep it very simple. I think that this side is simpler than this one. Yeah, we're gonna try to bring this kind of energy onto our next painting, but even simpler. Let's leave this to dry. And the other thing I wanted to do is try to add some lines here, see what we can achieve. Okay, so I like to use this ink. This is one of the mystery inks that I swatched in one of my recent videos. There's not too much left. I love how the pen glides on this paper. It's so smooth. Oh my god. My battery died, but by mistake, I dropped a drop of water here and here. And you see what it did? So it's very pretty, but it's not what I wanted to do. But I think the result's gonna be nice nonetheless. So it gave me an idea though. I'm going to drop some drops here and there. But then I think I'm also going to drop some when I'm finished on top of the lines, just to see what happens. Okay, let's try to add some drops now. Okay, the paper flipped just a little bit, but when I tape it, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be just fine. So let's do that now. I'm going to use a better tape Then in my sketchbook, I'll try to stretch it as much as I can. Okay, so here's what I did so far. I put some painting tape because I'm planning on using some masking fluid, and I figured it would be easier to like put it on the edges if I use the tape. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see if it truly helps or not. So I was thinking I should put the masking fluid that I want, then remove the tape. Then I'm going to paint in blue the areas that I want to accentuate, which will be the road and the apartment building. Then we'll see what we have time to do today. I don't think we'll have time to do much, but we'll continue tomorrow. That's okay. Yeah, that was not my best idea. Well, we tried. I wanted to remove the tape before the masking fluid had time to set, but I guess it's quite quick. So I'm gonna have to go over some lines, I think. Hello! Just wanted to show my face, just in case you forgot what I look like. I worked a little bit on my big house painting, and so far I'm very excited about it. I'm waiting for this layer to dry, and then I'm gonna remove the masking fluid. What I already noticed is that this masking fluid tends to remove a little bit of the paint that I put, like this first layer of blue that I put on the whole paper. When I remove the masking fluid, it kind of takes this layer off. So I hope it won't damage the paper too much. But if it doesn't, then I think it's going to be fine, because the reason why I put this layer of masking fluid was to have some paler lines, which will be the case if even the first layer of blue is pulled off. I don't know if it makes sense. Anyway, you'll see. We'll see together. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I put some salt, I put some dots of blue, and I also put some dots of duochrome violet pearl. This is a paint that I got not too long ago that I didn't have a chance to use so far, so we'll see what happens. I'm gonna show you what's happening on the paper, and then we'll just wait for it to dry. Okay, so this is where we're at so far. I want to create a base layer for the sky. And then the next step will be tracing the trees and then painting the trees with my acrylic inks. I might work more on the sky first, I'm not sure, but first I'm just going to add some texture in the sky with my watercolors, and then we'll see. But so far I really like the effect we've created. So nice. And I love the simplicity of this bush. So far so good. Okay, now we're ready to start sketching the trees, which is quite a scary step. I want to keep these simple shapes like that, but I've never really drawn that way. So I was thinking I should do a couple of sketches first in my sketchbook just to practice, and then we will do it on the real painting. Today is the last day that we have to work on this painting for this video, because if we take more time, then I won't have a video to show you next week. So, well, this week I have to publish in a couple of days. So we're gonna do our best to try to finish this painting, or at least try to get as far as we can. And then if there is some touch-ups to do later on, then I'll do them and I'll show you the final result, of course. So we're gonna try to hurry and hopefully this painting will be done. I'm not sure yet because it's super simple, but that was the look I was going for. So will that be enough? We will see. Let's crack on. I love this expression. Isn't it British? I only hear British people say crack on. Let's crack on. Crack on. Ah, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna stop right now. Okay, now we're gonna draw the trees. It's quite a stressful step, but we can always erase if we need to. So let's get the reference image again. Where is it? So one tree is here. It hides this side of the house. Way up here. And it's gonna split off at the end. Like this. I'm trying to simplify the shapes, so I'm not gonna draw every branches or anything like that. I'm just trying to draw the main ones. I don't know if you see well in this reference picture. We have one tree that is right on the side of the house and the other is kind of here. So I'm wondering, do I draw it here or do I put it on the side of the house too for symmetry? At first, I thought I would put it here for symmetry, but I also like the fact that it's here because it kind of splits this blank wall area in two sections, which I think is interesting too. So I think that's what we'll do. So it starts right about here, and let's it doesn't really split off at the end, so we're just gonna leave it like this. So this tree is not exactly at the edge of the house, but the leaves are, well, they take more space. So It looks like it's symmetrical, even though it's not. So I think we can work with this. So let's draw the main branches and then the main clusters of leaves. Then we can paint. Okay, the trees are drawn. Let's do a first layer using watercolors so we can place the main blocks of color. I'm just going to go with my eraser on top of the lines just to make them a little bit more subtle. Even if it's not cute in the end, this process has been so fun so far. So I'm sure that it kind of has to be cute because I've had so much fun. It cannot not be cute. Maybe I'm gonna find that I have some stuff that I would have done differently, which is pretty much always the case anyway, so I like having different shades of colors in the trees. It's so fun. It's getting darker outside. I still have a couple of hours ahead of me for this painting before I have to go to work, but I don't know how much longer I'll be able to film if it's getting this dark this quickly. so this is pretty much it. Sorry if the lighting got weird at the end. We lost the natural light and I had to use the light that I have in the studio, which are not great. Soon it's gonna be winter, so I think I'm going to have to take my big lights out. Right now they're in this closet, but I'm going to have them out at all times because if I want to paint after 3, then it gets dark. So, but yeah, that's it. I think I still am going to do some touch-ups here and there, but the painting is pretty much done at this point. And as I told you, I don't have any more time to film, but I will be sure to show you the final result soon. I'm still going to show you some close-ups, of course, of what we did so far. And maybe follow me on Instagram. On my art Instagram page is going to be here. And in the description, you can follow me on there. I'm going to post a picture of this painting as soon as it's finished. And also, I'm going to show you the final result in my next video. I'm going to take 1 week of break because I'm going on vacation and I won't have time to film anything or edit anything. So I will see you in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, follow me on Instagram to know what I'm up to. All right? Okay, bye.